football traditional is rolling over in the grave right now. Not much to say other than we found a way to win, which is the most important thing. As bad as we were on defense, and we were really bad, we stopped them, I guess, the last 2 and 4 out of the last 5, and that's the reason we won. And at some point, you got to make a stop, and it took us a while to do that. So, great job finding a way to win, and we survived. I mean, we went 1-0, and now we got to go try to go 1-0 next week, any way we can.
Derek, I think that's the most total yards allowed, most passing yards allowed. Are you embarrassed by the defense?
I hope so. Well, I mean, it's hard, and it's a bad defense, man. We play single high and they run by our corners, over the top. We play split safety, and either they dink it or they run the ball and they draw. Just didn't really have an answer for anything. And, we weren't slowing down on offense to help the defense. It's probably what we could have done. We could have just slowed the game down. So I think that probably contributes to it. When you got 2 up-tempo teams going, man, that's what these numbers look like when neither team can stop them. And you see it over the country, a lot of these kind of games, but certainly not something anything Tennessee's used to.
Is it frustrating when you're sitting there saying you need to maybe slow the offense down because your defense?
No, I never said that because, man, I just felt like they could never stop us. So, early in the game, I'm thinking if we can just pull away, but we never really could. Because every time we get like that, we make time, and then we stall a couple of times.
Derek, what did you guys try in the way of adjustments defensively?
We did everything on the sheet, and nothing really worked. So, early in the game, we got a couple of stops. First quarter wasn't bad. I mean, I think we stopped them 2 out of 4. So we felt like we had a decent thing going in the end. Everything went bad in the second and third. We were playing quarters, and they were just kind of dinking it all around, just couldn't slow them down. So then we go to single high and bring some pressure, and they throw it over our corner's head, and then we play too deep, and they run the draw, and can't tackle them. So we really didn't have an answer for them.
Coach, how much are the defensive struggles on the coaches or in the players? Both?
I mean, nothing's going really well on defense.
Derek, what do you tell
It always starts with coaching.
What do you tell your defense, honestly, moving forward? It's a win, but
Yeah.
how do you handle this with your defense moving forward?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing is, no matter what, the ultimate objective is to win the game. Okay? And at some point, you got to get stops. We got a lot of problems, obviously, and so you got to go play the next play, and that's all you can do. And try not to make the mistakes. We made a ton of mistakes, which is the same storyline. We made a ton of penalties. I mean, early in the game, we had a personal foul, we had 2 offsides. I mean, we can't, when you're not very good, let's don't hand it to them, so. And I think, hey, their spirit was getting broke out there. I mean, they're on their heels, can't slow them down. I mean, I had a bad look at halftime, trying to regroup.
Is this the first time that you felt like you guys had no answer for anything? It was just total grabbing at straws?
That's what it looked like, yeah.
When it came to the 3rd and long situations,
Yeah,
what's going on there?
Well, play cover 2, and they hand it off, and nobody can tackle the guy. Linebacker can't get off block, D-line can't get off blocks, and then the safeties don't see it quick enough. Play cover 1, 3 deep. They throw it over our corner's head. I think we had seemed like about 6 huge one-on-ones outside, and either it was PI or a huge play. And, we were rolling the corners, trying to find answers, and we just really had none. And give Troy, they're really good, give Troy a lot of credit, but 7-21, man, it's a big number, 99 plays.
Derek, is the defense struggling as much in practice as it is in games? Are you seeing anything?
Well, they're going against the scout team most of the time. So, No, but the games are where it really shows, you know, and they go against us, and they had a good week against us.
Coach, in a big picture sense, is it alarming that it's the 9th game of the year and it's, you know, statistically
Yes.
the worst game that the defense played instead of seeing progress?
Yeah, but, you know, this was who else was this kind of tempo? I mean, we knew it was going to be statistically a tough game, but not that tough.
You mentioned trying to pull away when it was 28-10.
Yeah.
I think that 4th and 2, the field goal, and then they ended up going for it. What did you see, or what happened in that instance? I guess out of that timeout, right before it.
I got to rewind my memory.
Did you guys have 12 guys on the field?
For the field goal unit,
Yeah,
and then
we
he came back out and went for it.
substitution, right? That was a bad mistake. Somebody, I think Sauls was in for Cinnamore, and then Cinnamore ran on the field when he heard field goal block, and he's not supposed to. And, you know, then it gave them an opportunity to rethink it, and they threw a slant route on the corner, so that was bad.
I know offensively you guys also set records. Tyler, I think, had the most passing yards in the game. Can you just talk about the obvious effort on that side of the ball?
Yeah, and you know what? We didn't even play that. I mean, we dropped 2 touchdowns deep in the part of the field. Tyler missed some throws. But that's a huge stat line, too. I've never been in a game like this, guys, so forgive me if I don't have a lot of, I mean, is that 1,400?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah. 30 minutes.
Oh,
Then
I used
Cordero,
to get that in season.
Cordero obviously had a huge day. Did
Yeah.
you guys plan on getting involved this much, or just
I mean, everybody got it. Hunter got it 9, CP 9, Marlon, he got it 21. And those guys were gassed. CP had an ID. You know, one thing we did a pretty good job of on special teams was fielding all their balls, and, you know, I felt like we won the vertical field position game. We had 2 good punts down there. Punt returns, the biggest problem with these guys is catching the ball. And I think we blocked one, and kickoff return, they were shooting the ball everywhere, and we were pushing it up. We only had 1 real screw up, so I think that helped us too. The turnover, you know, big turnover hurt. We're down there on the 3.
Derek, you've said you're more and more involved on the defense. What's
Get
left?
out of the room.
What's left though that you can try at this point? I know on Monday you said you don't really want to go down the path of maybe letting Josh call plays or something, but what's left that you can
Well,
try
I
at this point?
just need to go look at the film and see if the calls were the problem, or the technique was the problem, or if communication's the problem. I think for the most part, guys, it was just, you know, there weren't a lot of, they made a lot of just plays on us, you know. It wasn't, we'll have to just go look at the film and evaluate. I don't know any other way to say it, you know.
How often are calls being the problem when you're going back and watching the previous games?
I don't, not very many. It's how we play them, or do we understand it, you know. That's the bulk of the issues. We got a lot of problems in the back end. I mean, it's
Derek, from an offensive perspective, you said when you first came out in the hurry-up that was something you discussed with Sal, that was how it's going to be, and now you talk about slowing the game down. Do you have to reevaluate that decision offensively?
Well, I don't, you know, I knew it was going to hurt the defense when we made the decision to do it, but it's not an excuse for a 7-2-1, you know. So we don't need to play great defense to win.
You ever talk about
We just need to play better defense.
Talk about the plus of having an offense, I guess, and some guys who at least appear on the field, not to let the pressure get to them, especially when they're having to match all these points.
You know, guys, we did something we really have never done, which is we gritted it out in the 4th quarter. We went on a scoring drive in the 4th quarter, and that's a positive. You know, that is. It's something that Tyler hasn't done. I mean, I think, didn't we go on a scoring drive to win the game? Does that count, or we won't count it? So that was good. And they, you know, hey, there was some frustration now. You know, you're like, God dang. And then you're feeling good, and then a couple of minutes later, here we go, you know.
Despite that frustration, some of the offensive players try to, rally the the guys on the bench, the defense guys, are, let's go. I'll
Yeah,
help you out.
the team, they keep staying together. They do. That's why they were able to grind this out, man. It was easy for them to, whew, there were some hairy moments out there. But we found a way to win. That's what matters. We won the game. Now we're gonna have to go figure out how to win next week. It's not gonna be easy.
Derek, you said the football purists are rolling around in their graves, and we're looking at 7-2-1. Is this the worst you felt after a win?
No. I feel pretty good. Better than you guys think. Think of the alternative. Whenever I don't feel good, I just think about what's the alternative.
You had a lot of different guys in the back end, Ron Tumley, Gray. Obviously, you're going to keep looking. Did anybody help themselves at all?
You want to answer that
No,
question,
no.
Steve? Huh?
Not really.
We grinded out a win. It used to be you grind them out 9-6. Now you grind them out 55-48. It's a new era. What is it?
Is Wagner struggling in the secondary?
Yes.
I mean, is that why he's not playing as much?
Well, that's why we started Dan. And then Dan struggled. And so we went put Prentice back in, and he struggled. And Justin struggled. And Darryl struggling. Byron struggling.
What's Denver's situation?
He had a concussion.
Does that happen this week?
Yeah, it happened on Tuesday. Practice.
That's something, was there any chance of them playing, or was that pretty much soon to happen?
Well, there was, on Thursday, but then once Thursday came around, we knew he wasn't going to play. Which worried us about fielding these balls. Justin did a good job, CP back there did a good job, Pig.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys.